Tonight's segment of Front Page starts with three words from Las Vegas, United States. Because why not? That's the theme of AWS reInvent event from 2025. Watching AWS CEO Matt Garman speedrun 25 announcements in 10 minutes by the end of this keynote, you could almost sense and feel the emotion. If there's a crazy thing that customers want, AWS will probably build it. Because why not, as I said? Behind the meme tagline is something more dangerous for the rest of the big tech. Because Amazon's customer obsession is now pointed straight at frontier reasoning, AI agents, and custom silicon in a way that could seriously hurt the competition. Before we dive deep, like, share, and subscribe because why not? Sorry, I had to do that again. And you do not want to miss this one because let's be honest, on the Gen AI chatbot hype cycle, AWS was a tad bit late. While Microsoft and Google plastered AI on every slide and product, Amazon quietly shipped infrastructure and let everyone joke that, oh, AWS missed Gen AI. But this week, at the reInvent event, they answered everything in one line. The next 80 to 90% of enterprise AI value is going to come from AI agents. So, what does this mean? Instead of copying Copilot or Google's Gemini, AWS is going one layer deeper. You got the Nova models as the frontier family, Nova Forge as the frontier model factory, Trainium 3 and Trainium 4 as the silicon backbone for AI. Then, of course, you got the AgentCore platform and frontier agents as the operating system for long running AI workers. Not to forget the Kiro vibe coding agentic IDE that stole the show on the stage. It's almost like AWS didn't just crash the party late, they walked in late with the sound system, the power backup, and the bartender rocking the party. And here's why this should and probably most likely will scare the rivals. Take a look at the numbers. In Q3 2025, AWS did roughly $33 billion in revenue. That's 20% growth year on year, and its fastest growth since 2022. And it delivered nearly 60% of Amazon's, the parent company's total operating income. When you have a cash engine like that, it's used to fund a very specific strategy, which is say yes to any hard, unglamorous problem so that big customers bring to them. And of course, with that, build deep, boring, but brutal infrastructure around it. Do what then? Undercut everyone on the price performance over time. Because at the event, that because why not line that I told you, it's more of an instinct that showed up in every element. Why not let every Fortune 500 company train its own frontier class model on AWS Silicon? Why not turn data centers into AI factories for sovereign nations and mega enterprises? And why not publish an open multi-cloud specification with Google so AWS plus GCP can be wired together as one private high bandwidth fabric? For competitors, this is like a nightmare because you're not just fighting AWS, the cloud provider, you're fighting AWS plus every big customer's wish list. The quiet bombshell is about the Nova Forge because AWS calls it a first of its kind service to train and build frontier models, but with a twist. It introduces something called as the open training. It means access to pre-trained checkpoints where you blend in your proprietary data with Nova's curated datasets mid-training, not in fine-tuning. So in simpler terms, you get a frontier level brain, you take your enterprise data, put it in, inject it into the training loop. What do you end up with? You end up with a private model that understands your logs, your contracts, and your domain, lives inside your own virtual systems, still benefits from Amazon's ongoing model improvements. So when we talk about this seems very different from just slapping RAG on top of a closed API. Think of Infosys building a Bedrock-based RAG systems for, let's say, oil and gas on drilling data. AWS now wants to give every enterprise a similar pattern, but at a frontier scale with Nova Forge doing the heavy lifting. What does that mean for customers? It means I want my own model and along with my own brain. But for competitors, it means AWS is turning frontier training itself into a managed service. Where everyone else is talking about copilots, AWS is mostly talking about frontier agents because on one side you have the Amazon Bedrock AgentCore. Look, that's a platform to build, constrain, evaluate, and give memory to agents at a production scale. You got the other layer on top, which is AWS launching 3 frontier agents You got the Kiro autonomous agent. It's a virtual developer agent that keeps persistent context across sessions, learns your own coding style, repositories, and reviews your own comments over time. It can work for hours or even days on a task before surfacing changes. Then number two, you got the AWS security agent. It's like your embedded AI security consultant. Then you got the AWS DevOps agent. It's an on-call SRE team that's not human but AI. Think about it. Inside AWS itself, a DevOps agent is already hitting 86% root cause identification inside operations in production, collapsing MTTR from hours to minutes. Then the other component, you've got the Kiro IDE, last year's coding assistant that this year evolved into a full agentic development environment. So with that, you just don't autocomplete code. You're essentially delegating work, saying, refactor this service for latency, write tests and observability, and raise PR also if possible. So if GitHub Copilot is autocomplete on steroids, you got Amazon's Kiro plus Frontier agents is almost like another developer sitting next to you who also never sleeps. But under all of this stack is the silicon. Remember, AWS at the event announced Trainium 3 UltraServers and up to 144 Trainium 3 chips inside it, which is a single integrated systems, and this delivers 4.4 times more compute and 4 times better energy efficiency than the previous generation. Matt Garman also pre-announced the Trainium 4 with roughly 8 times the compute power of Trainium 2 with super high memory and bandwidth, squarely aimed at frontier scale training and ultra cheap inference. Then of course on the GPU side, you got the P6e GB300 UltraServers that bring NVIDIA's GB300 NVL72 architecture to EC2 instances for trillion parameter inference workloads, all wired into the Nitro and the rest of the AWS stack. What comes next? What's on top? You got the AI factories. You got dedicated campuses with Trainium and NVIDIA GPUs along with the Bedrock and the SageMaker platforms. And these are deployed inside customers or sovereign data centers. It's also built for governments, national labs, and hyperscale enterprises that want sovereign compute without giving up AWS tooling. And this is where it really hurts rivals like Google because every time AWS ships a more efficient Trainium chip, it chips away the economics of, let's say, TPUs or third party GPU clouds. Take a look at some of the customers. Sony is using Bedrock and AgentCore to power an internal AI platform for like 57,000 employees and a fan engagement platform that processes hundreds of terabytes of data across PlayStation, music, movies, and anime. Then you've got Adobe that's training Firefly powering, Express, Acrobat Studio, Experience Platform, and the Gen Studio all on AWS infra, including the P series GPU instances and the Bedrock platform to push AI native creativity and marketing at scale. Then you've got a company called Writer. It's integrating Bedrock models inside its enterprise agent platform, adding a supervision layer so CIOs can now see exactly how agents behave before they go live. Let's look at it from an India lens. This stack is built for IT giants like the Infosys, who are already building generative AI RAG solutions on Amazon's Bedrock for sectors like oil and gas, which are now able to graduate those into Nova plus Agent Core and the Frontier agents. Then you've got mobility and logistics players like you got Yulu style fleets who can use the Strands agents on the Edge plus Bedrock platform in the cloud for real-time dispatch pricing and your fleet health. Then you can think about, let's say, banks, telecom companies, or GCCs who want, let's say, a sovereign friendly infra, probably multimodal choice. You got Nova, Mistral, Gemma, 12 labs, and all of those. Then you've got governed agents that they can actually explain to regulators. You might say AWS arrived a little too late to the Gen AI demo wars, but it might absolutely dominate the narrative of, let's say, put it into production and keep it alive for 10 years sort of a phase. So for Indian enterprises, this week's message from the Las Vegas is quite clear. You don't have to pick a single model. AWS is going to give you everything. You got Nova, Anthropic, Mistral, Gemma, and more, all in one single managed garden. And you don't have to own a 1 gigawatt data center either. You can rent Trainium, NVIDIA's GB300, or an entire AI factory as a service. And you also don't have to hand your IP to a closed API. Because with Nova Forge and Agent Core, your data can live inside your VPC, your own region, and your compliance regime. So the real question now is not like, should we try AI agents? It's mostly like which parts of our business are we brave enough to hand it to the agents first. That's exactly what we're going to decode next because our own AM network tech journalist Sanjana Gupta is on the ground at the reInvent event. She's talking to AWS leaders, partners like Adobe and Writer, and of course, Indian customers who are already experimenting with Nova, Kiro, and Frontier agents. This is exclusive on ground coverage. You definitely don't want to miss out how India Inc. plans to plug into AWS's new agentic stack.
Together, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi everyone. So that what we just saw was a demonstration of literal tech debt crushing, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Looking forward to more from AWS, and I guess that was a great beginning to the conference. All right, hi, and thank you so much. It has definitely been amazing 3 jam-packed days here at AWS reInvent, and there's been amazing announcements around Agentic AI, around Kiro, and around a lot of different applications and layers in the Agentic AI stack. So definitely something to look forward to. We've had a lot of good interactions with the Agentic AI team at AWS, the partnerships team, and even an interaction with the CTO, Ankit, at Postman. So stay tuned and look forward to that. There's been a lot of buzz and talk around robotics. Around different startups that are present here that are working with AWS. So that's definitely something very exciting. And as you can see, there's a lot of networking happening here. A lot of people present and participating from different countries, different layers in the industry. So that's been an amazing journey till now, and we are looking forward to a lot more in the coming 2 days. With yesterday having Matt's keynote, today with Swami's keynote. So definitely we are looking forward to more tomorrow and day after. And yeah, stay tuned to know more and check out the upcoming interviews.
Hi, everyone. We launched a number of things here related to Kiro over the last couple of days, and I wanted to briefly update on those. Firstly, we've been looking at a couple of different areas. One is how can we help individual developers to more precisely build software? Another area is how can we help larger teams to work on a broad range of challenges that they're facing in their day-to-day work. And so for the individuals in Kiro, we've launched the Kiro Powers feature. With that, developers will be able to combine things like MCPs and steering rules and so on. And also, Kiro Powers will dynamically load the context so that you don't end up with a lot of context rot and things like that. So it's a very powerful feature. A lot of our partners are building Powers, and you as individual developers can also build Kiro Powers and customize and enhance your Kiro experience. We've also launched 3 new frontier agents. First one is the Kiro Autonomous Agent, and then we have the security agent, and we have the DevOps agent. And these agents are helping throughout the development lifecycle. For example, security agent will allow you to catch security issues early on in the development, during your design even, and run pen tests for you much quicker than you would otherwise be able to do. So it's very powerful, hugely productive. Please come and check them all out.
Yeah, hi. I'm Kiran Jagannath. I'm a director for financial services and conglomerates at AWS India and South Asia.
All right. So how are you feeling here at reInvent, and how has the experience been until now with all the announcements that are coming out around, the Agentic AI stack and everything? How's it been?
Oh, it's always super exciting to be at reInvent. The energy is just something that you don't really get to express it. You need to really feel it to understand what I'm talking about when I say the energy is through the roof out here. So it's amazing. It's great to see all the announcements. I hope people are following it because it's been super exciting. I'm really excited about what Matt Garman actually in his keynote announced yesterday. I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of the ones that truly, I'm excited to take back to my customers are what we announced in terms of the frontier agents that are going to help with security, DevOps, developer. I think that sounds pretty cool. And like everybody, by the way, I'm also digesting all the announcements that are coming out. So over the next few days, me and our teams, we will be looking at how we can take this to our customers. The other ones, of course, are the Nova Omni. That sounds really cool, where it's the first unified multimodal LLM out there that can understand the video, the context behind the video and everything. That's pretty exciting.
That's the requirement of today, right? In terms of the shift that we're moving to. It's not just about a text LLM or something that's generating audio, video. We need everything all together.
And the fact that it can look at it at the same time, like understand what the speaker is speaking and still understand what's behind them on the screen. I think that's super cool. I want to see how we can translate that to something meaningful for our customers in India. And AI factories, that was amazing. I think that will be, again, truly democratizing AI now for those customers who are still wanting to leverage some of these technologies within their data centers. I think that's going to bridge that gap for such customers. And from a non-AI perspective, two things stood out for me. AWS Transform. I think, modernization, reducing tech debt continues to be the focus, and the ability to do it 5x faster. I think that's pretty cool. And something that, showcases our DNA of continuing to listen to our customers. It's not a launch, but the database savings plan, I think that was something that our customers were asking for a long time. So I'm really glad that we can bring something to them that saves up to some 35% of the database costs.
Right. I think even I was quite excited about the AI factories part of it.
Yeah.
Because, until now I've been covering the AI factories part of it from like NVIDIA's side, and something that they announced and they're building as well. So to know that, that's something that other companies are also looking into and talking about the need for, compute and data centers. I think that's really good to know. Considering you're based out of Bangalore and, we're talking about the Indian ecosystem here, in terms of partnerships and, going forward, considering the newer announcements as well, what can we look forward to in the Indian enterprise sector?
Yeah, I think all of these, are available for our customers in India to leverage, right? Some of these can be leveraged by the customers fairly immediately, the ones who can use these technologies from other regions, and some of the other industries will have to wait for us to bring it to India. I think that will sort of become available fairly soon, I hope. And that's something that we need to wait to see because we do sort of release these in a rolling fashion to regions outside of the US. So I think there's the next step truly is to digest everything, come up with use cases that can be accelerated with these new launches. And there's a whole bunch of them. And like I said, we usually launch these things keeping in mind what the customers are asking. So it's just a matter of tying these two together and making an impact for our customers.
Have you had any, out of curiosity, any good examples from India where you felt like, okay, this is a customer that needs this and we need to bring that out?
Yeah, like AI factories, for example. That is a big need in quite a lot of regulated industries. Industry customers who are not yet comfortable bringing some PII, personally identifiable information, to the public cloud. Now, these customers, were reliant on procuring some of these technologies on their own and trying to work with that. Now they can leverage all the innovations we are bringing to the cloud by, leveraging the AI factories. I think that will be very interesting to see what that will open up for customers in India as well.
That's actually quite exciting. I'm looking forward to that part of it. I think Agentic AI is also something that's, as much as it's important, it's been on that, wave of the hype. Also, in terms of just talking about it. But I feel the hardware and the compute part is equally important, because even for running APIs, testing the Agentic AI, running the Agentic AI all requires compute, right?
And how about having an Indian customer featured on Swami's keynote? I think was pretty
definitely. That was amazing. Yeah.
interesting. Where he talked about Dun and what Dun India is doing. Building their small language model, leveraging the Indian capital market data, and running it all on one GPU. I think it was a pretty cool moment to see our customers featured on Swami's keynote. So that was exciting.
Definitely, that was something that was exciting to me as well, to see that this is some India as a market is something that's making an impact in a larger global sense as well. Yeah. All right. I think thank you so much, and great sitting with you and getting a small insight into what's happening here at AWS.
And look forward to more announcements over the next 36 hours.
Definitely looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.